Last week I told you that you should always split the party, but it's also true that you can have too much of a good thing. For example, what do you do when the rogue has assassinated the Lord of Dunkirk, and the paladin learns of it, and the paladin says, "We should be better than this. We should be better than this dishonor, better than this evil. I can no longer fight alongside one who has lost her way. Either she goes, or I go." Is your campaign doomed? The problem is irreconcilable differences. One of the PCs wants to leave, or the other PCs have gotten so fed up with their antics that they want to kick them out of the group. You can end up in a similar situation when a campaign reaches a major fork in the road. One half of the group wants to continue fighting vampires in Graveoak, but the other half of the group wants to get back to following their treasure map into the fabled south. Now, it's quite possible, of course, for neither group to be in the wrong. People go their separate ways all the time. But in other cases, what will be at stake are huge questions about personal beliefs, major themes of the campaign, and other fundamental crucibles of character. These are rich, powerful role-playing opportunities. Either way, however, there are two unexamined axioms that can turn this situation into a full-blown crisis for your campaign. The first axiom is that the characters need to stay together as a group because the players want to stay together as a group. And the second is that the Game Master is obligated to run whatever adventure the players are interested in playing. Let's simplify this a bit by saying that we have a situation where a PC feels betrayed by their comrades and decides to leave. With the first unexamined axiom in play, the Game Master, and possibly the rest of the group, including the PC's player, may feel the need to somehow force the PC back into the group. What usually happens next is a rapidly deteriorating campaign. Even if they did it to themselves, the player either feels railroaded, or they feel like their character has been broken in some way, or both. The group dynamics and the character themselves that led to the PC leaving in the first place hasn't actually been fixed, so the problem just keeps festering. It grows worse and worse, and the longer this goes on, the more possible it becomes for the group dynamics of the players to break down instead, and then you're cooked. So, if you've got a situation where the PCs are all going in different and irreconcilable directions, and they all feel strongly about their chosen directions, you can either stick to the axiom and watch the whole thing implode, or you can discard the axiom and let them split up. If you discard the axiom, then the first thing you need to do is figure out where the focus of the campaign is going to go. If you have one PC leaving and 4 PCs remaining together, then the campaign will probably stick with the larger group, but not necessarily. For example, consider the vampire hunters in Graveoak. Maybe after a particularly traumatizing hunt, a majority of the group realizes that their characters have been broken by the experience, and they simply have to get out. They don't have another hunt in them. The players, on the other hand, might still want to keep staking vampires. There's no reason that the one-player character brave enough to remain behind couldn't attract a new posse to continue the hunt and also the campaign. This is also where the second unexamined axiom kicks in. When a campaign reaches a major fork in the road like this, it's possible for one or all of the groups to be interested in pursuing scenarios that you, as the Game Master, have no interest in running. For example, maybe the campaign started out with everyone saying, "Hey, let's play starfighter pilots." But then, for whatever reason, some of the PCs decide to retire and become moisture farmers on Tatooine. Or maybe they want to run a tavern in Mos Eisley. Either way, if those aren't campaigns you're interested in running, that's okay. It's not what you signed up for. It doesn't even have to be an extreme example like that, of course. Dropping the vampire hunting in Graveoak to go hunt dragons in the Cerulean Alps might seem like a perfectly natural thing for a group of wandering adventurers to do. But if the campaign you've prepped is centered on the region of Graveoak, it's okay if that's the only campaign you're interested in running. Or maybe you just don't like dragons. That's okay too. The Game Master is part of the group. Your opinion counts. To figure all of this out, you're going to want to have a frank discussion with your players about where the campaign is headed. Figure out which path, among those you're interested in running, the players are interested in pursuing. Once you know which path the campaign is going to follow, the players whose characters are going in a different direction will need to create new characters who are motivated to join the remaining original PCs in following that path. And then you can just introduce these new characters in the next session, and you're good to go. Alternatively, you can instead identify existing NPCs in the campaign and have some or all of the players adopt them as their new characters. Now, henchmen, research assistants, and similar hangers-on can be great selections here, stepping up to face new challenges in the line of duty. If the current circumstances of the campaign would make it difficult to immediately introduce the new PC for a player, these characters can also provide a temporary role for them to play until their new PC can show up. Another option is to literally split the campaign. Instead of choosing to follow either Group A or Group B, you can instead follow them both, with each group playing on a different night. That might mean running for 2 different groups of players, or it might mean running the same group of players in both campaigns, with the player of the departing NPC creating a new character for the first campaign, and all the other players creating a new character for the second. If you've got the same players in both campaigns, you might also choose to run the campaigns back-to-back instead of at the same time. Or you might run 5 or 6 sessions in one campaign and then switch to the other for a bit. There's a lot of different ways to handle this. Such a split might even be temporary, with the 2 forks in the road eventually coming back together later on. If that happens, of course, you'll need to figure out what to do with all the extra PCs you've ended up with. At that point, though, we've really drifted into a completely different topic about troop-style play, and we're going to have to tackle that in a future video. If you don't want to miss out on that video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also prostrate yourself before the unholy fane of YouTube, lest the gods of the algorithm cast you down into the pits of despair. And if you don't want to miss out on incredible resources for building your game world, make sure to check out DSCRYB, the sponsor of today's video. Whether your campaign is heading to Graveoak or the Cerulean Alps, the interactive maps, incredible sonic library, character illustrations, and other resources created by DSCRYB's team of professional designers will help you create an unforgettable experience. I've included a link to their free resources in the font of all knowledge down below. Good gaming. I'm Justin Alexander, and I'll see you at the table.